And we are live. What goes on, YouTube? Mad Queens here. Talk about the latest episode of Game of Thrones. The Queen's Justice, I believe, is the name. Go around the horn real quick. Let the ladies introduce themselves. Beauty Queen, you first. You're muted, Manaro. Technical difficulties. It never fails, y'all.
I'm seeing you guys while Beauty Queen basically beats her babies. I'm a little under the weather, so that's why I'm Faceless Man tonight. She gonna beat them babies tonight, y'all.
She is not gonna beat the babies.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? I'm glad to be here, talk about this episode. Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, we will be joined later by Professor Diligence. She is en route as we speak. What up, everybody in the chat room? Renee of House Stark, Lav, and whoever else will come in later. Glad to have you all. So I got busier at work today than I thought I would, so I didn't get a chance to go through all of the summaries that I wanted to write. So Manaro is going to help me with 2 of the locations. Do you guys want to get the shorter locations out first and leave your part, Manaro, for the second half? Or do you want to go first and then I'll do the other ones? Yay, nay, Manaro? Still muted. You good with? Okay. All right, I'll go with, we'll start with King's Landing. Hey, Shawnee Land, thank you for coming in. And I felt, well, actually, let's start with giving our initial impression of the episode as a whole. I was a bit meh with a lot of the parts in this. Some of them I thought were good, but it seemed underwhelming in many different parts. What did you ladies think? Manaro, you can go first.
This episode felt kind of flat for me. It, like you said, it did have some good moments, but overall, it kind of felt a little flat for me. It didn't give me the substance. I won't say substance. It didn't give me the wow factor that I was looking for.
Hey, baby.
Yeah, I'm with you ladies. I didn't really care for this episode. I found it kind of boring, to be honest with you, but when you kind of sit back and think about it, I think it was a lot of information in this episode and a lot of things like foreshadowing. You got to give Cersei her credit in this episode. I hate to do it, but look, she's winning, and the moves that she's making just makes Tyrion looks stupid, makes Dany look stupid, everyone. So I'm curious your thoughts on all of this, but I'm with you ladies. We only have a certain amount of episodes left. So this episode felt like it could have been condensed a little bit more. We should have got more fighting, but you can't see fighting with Jaime because he can't fight. Let me stop. Let's just talk about
this. Excuse me, sorry. T-Baby always makes me giggle when she talks about Jaime. But anyway, my random rundown here of King's Landing. Euron parades captives Yarrow, Alaria, and Tyene through the streets of King's Landing. And for whatever reason, the small folk think he's the best thing since sliced bread. I don't know why. Also, he demands his reward from Cersei, and Cersei hit him with the okay, bitch, pause. We got some shit to handle first. She then proceeds to appoint him as commander of the naval forces and Jaime as commander of her armies. Jaime can't stand Euron, and we see Euron's inner troll level up. Like, I literally heard, like, when Mario hits the mushroom in the old school game and you get the doo-doo-doo-doo, that's what I saw in Euron with his level of trolling of Jaime, and I thought it was quite comical. Cersei then goes to the cells. She tells Alaria, you know, bitch, bye, pretty much. You know, do you know who I am? Put some respect on my name. But she doesn't say it so simply. She's a drama queen, so, you know, she has to monologue and waste more of our time repeating things that we all already knew. And after that, she returns the gift. As we heard, Euron said he was bringing a gift. She now returns the gift of that, what was, I don't remember the name of the poison. I know, Manaro, you probably know, help me out with it later. And she kisses Tyene the exact same way that Alaria did with Myrcella. And she also tells Alaria she'll be there to witness her little girl leave the world until she is dust and bones, and then walks out and gives the order that whenever the torches go out, make sure you relight them right away so she doesn't miss a thing. And like T was saying, I do not like Cersei. Not at all. I wish she would just, you know, fall off the whatever is west of Westeros and never come back. But you have to give respect where respect is due, and she played her cards pretty well this hand, pretty well. So then moving on though, after Alaria and whatnot.
I'm sorry, the poison was called Long Farewell.
Thank you, the Long Farewell. Appreciate that. So after she gives the Long Farewell, she then goes, you know, like full on her daddy mode, you know, hashtag tinfoil or whatever. But she goes and basically strips her brother, and, you know, he tries to hit her with the, you know, bye Felicia, I'm not feeling that. But because he's stuck in the vagina nebula, he gives in anyway. What do you expect? It's Jaime. And I say she pulled her full father as a reference to the Mad King, if y'all didn't get that, because he couldn't get it up until he killed some people with wildfire. And now look at what Cersei's doing. Just saying. The next morning, Cersei gives no fucks about the servants seeing her and Jaime in bed together. Why? I don't know, but it's Cersei. The servant tells her she has a visitor, and it's Tycho Nestoris, you know, preaching that good word from the Iron Bank, bitch, where my money? And Cersei says she only needs a fortnight. So I feel like she's about to pull a Ramsay. Instead of 20 good men, it's just a fortnight. And that's where we're at with King's Landing. Discuss. Manaro, you take it.
Okay, so what am I saying? What my thoughts were about, or what stood out to me for King's Landing?
Yes, yeah, all your thoughts on King's Landing.
Okay, so I think the King's Landing scene was good. I think the best part for me about the King's Landing scene was Euron. His trolling was just like really made the whole scene. I really loved how Yara, while he was pulling her, she kept her head up and she just, you know what I mean? She didn't cower. I know it's not, it really isn't a big deal. I don't know if it's a big deal to some people or not, but for me, that showed strength of character because she already knows what her fate is going to be, but yet she's, you know what I mean? She's keeping her head up. She's not looking broken. Even if she might be feeling broken inside, she's not showing it on the outside, even as he's trolling her while he's doing it. I like the way that Cersei handled Ilaria. I thought that was very well done. I like the way that she trolled Ilaria with how she thought about how she was going to kill her and told her all the different scenarios that she thought about. Because at the end of the day, love her or hate her, I don't know of any mother that wouldn't eventually avenge. Give me a second.
The children's are being too rambunctious again. I think I might worry if I see Manaro go off screen. But chat room also, you guys put your thoughts up. Let us know what you thought about King's Landing. BBM, we already know what the hell you thought. Shush. I was talking to everybody else.
Sorry about that, y'all. Where did I leave off? Yeah, Cersei. I thought that that was excellently done on her part, the way that she trolled Ilaria, and I like the fact that she, the poetic justice of using the same poison that Ilaria used on Marcella, that she used it, and not only did she do that, she is gonna let her live. She's not gonna kill her, which is probably a fate worse than death. You know what I mean? And not only she's not going to kill you, so you can watch your daughter die, but not only watch her die, you're going to watch her rot. And you're going to sit there and contemplate the consequences of the choices that you made. And I thought that was excellently done on Cersei's part. The next thing, I'm not going to get into the Jaime and Cersei thing, but I do agree with the hints of the Mad King, which I'm kind of disappointed in the showrunners for not having Jaime kind of make that click in his head. Like, you were the Kingsguard, and how that affected you so much when the king was raping his wife after he killed someone. And your sister is now starting to exhibit those same behaviors. And yet you are using cognitive dissonance in order to like excuse what your sister's doing as compared to what the Mad King had done, which kind of mirrors each other. And I'll get more into that when we get to the Olenna and Jaime scene, because she said a few things that I thought really goes back to that. And Euron is keeping Yara. Like, Yara was never the gift. I think Yara was Euron's gift. And I honestly believe that Yara is gonna play the role of what Aeron is playing in the Forsaken chapter. She's pretty much gonna fill that role, at least in my opinion. I think that's the role that she's gonna fulfill. What else in King's Landing? I'm gonna leave it at that. My favorite part is the Euron trolling. I thought that was awesome.
He was pretty epic on that. T-Baby, talk to the folks.
Okay, I didn't know we were just going to talk like about everything at once that happened at King's Landing. So if I sound like a mad woman, it's possibly because I am, but my thoughts, and that's also a terrible thing. So yes, let's talk about Euron. Love his trolling, like how did Cersei wanted up the. I love that. And Jaime got mad and he couldn't do shit. He's like, shh, we'll talk later. I love that. So I'm with you, Beauty Queen. Favorite part of this whole stupid ass episode. I'm with these ladies. I didn't care for it. So really, I'm just going to point out things that I saw that goes, or maybe my antennas just started peaking for some reason. But let's talk about when he was walking them down towards King's Landing and they did their own little walk of shame. It just shows you that this dude plays games, mind games. He knows that that's exactly what Cersei went through. So not only are you going to give her these gifts, but you paraded them like they did you. Smart as shit. So we kind of knew that Cersei was going to hit him with the I'll give you what you want at the end of the war. We kind of knew that. But this is where I have to give this bitch credit. And this will probably be the only time I give her credit. So BBM, not only did this chick sit in front of Jaime, I'm going to marry this dude because we both know what he wants. And he saw golden dumbass with sad puppy dog eyes. But then later on, turns around, fucks you so you can still do your job and go to Highgarden, forsake Castle Rock because you know it ain't worth shit. And then you take the Highgarden because that's where the real money's at. So now you can pay the Iron Bank, and you told them to sit there because you knew you were going to get the money and they were going to be impressed by that dumb shit. I loved it. So I'm going to give that bitch credit. It's going to completely fail. We all know this because one thing her dumb ass did was she thinks it's okay because she's queen that she could just have it out in the open that, you know, she's fucking her brother, nasty. But anyway, but she made that out in the open. James like, oh no, we can't show. It's like, shut your dumb ass up. I cannot stand Jaime. Even Now, this is the second time he's killed a senior citizen in this story, and people still cooling his weak ass. I'm sorry. He is stuck on pussy and does whatever he wants. Now, the cool thing about the whole situation is because we know Olenna told him, like, I killed your son. So now you know Tyrion is innocent. Are you going to tell Cersei? Is that what's going to, like, draw y'all apart because you know he's innocent, or you going to still be a bitch? We all know he's still going to be a bitch, but whatever. Let me go back to King's Landing, because one thing that I did like was that it was basically like a nod to what the Mad King did to Rickard and Brandon Stark, where they were trying to get to each other, but they couldn't. Like, that is so fucked up. And then we see that she's obsessed with torturing people, and she's been thinking about it. And she was even going to, like, have Lady Olenna beaten in the streets. But that's what punk-ass Lannisters do. They beat old people, whatever. Oh, because Cersei killed senior citizens, too. But y'all like them. Y'all like them, though. Whatever. I'm trying to think what else happened in King's Landing, but I can't think of it. It just seemed like, you know, I'm with you guys when it comes to that Yara was not his Cersei's gift. I'm wondering why he's still keeping her alive. I wonder why he kept not Euron, but Theon alive. So I think he's going to play a mind game with them too. Something sadistic and really fucked up. But that's all I really think I got to say about King's Landing. I'll give Cersei her props. She's winning. She's winning.
True enough. True enough. You know, like I said earlier, I'll give respect where respect is due. However, you know, as Lavlov just pointed out in the chat, you know, eventually she's going to fall. All of Cersei's plans at some point in time always backfire on her to, like, the direst of consequences. So she's doing okay now, but that's not going to last. Are you guys cool to move on?
I'm sorry, can I just add?
Go ahead. Yes, please.
I wonder if the showrunners are doing, like, you know, the standard trope of the bad guys come on top, and then, because we know that's not how Martin works, right? The bad guys are on top for now, and then they get the rug pulled out from them because I don't know about you, but I saw a lot of shadows of Lord of the Rings. Maybe it's just me. I saw a lot of shadows of a lot of the Lord of the Rings stuff being done in this episode. I don't know why, but I got like a lot of the same
Which
vibe.
ones? Which ones pertaining to
Rock? The Castle Rock vibe reminded me of the Helm's Deep vibe. Reminded me of Helm's Deep a lot. The whole court thing kind of almost reminded me of with the whole King Theoden type deal.
Yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah, I can dig it. I can dig it. Okay, so let us go to the little spot that happened in the north. Mr. Wolkin is helping Sansa take inventory. She makes some sound plans to, you know, produce a little more food and store for oncoming winter. Royce, who is still in there just looking out of place to me, is given the task of putting leather into the armor because, duh, winter's here. I mean, they need to be warm, not just out in cold-ass armor. Baelish, it seems, is still trying to give Sansa Jedi training, but I don't know how much further that's going to work out for him. During their session, though, they're interrupted because Bran and Mira are now back at Winterfell, which I think was also a very lackluster reunion. I don't know about Bran playing that part there. We go to the Heart Tree in the Godswood, and Bran is being ominous, sad panda, and just being weird. I mean, Bran's gotten weird is pretty much where we're at. He laments about saying, you know, he needs to talk to Jon and blah, 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 blah. And fucking Sansa. These damn Tully chicks. I can't with them. This bitch really fixed her mouth to say, you're the true lord of Winterfell. What the fuck are you doing, Sansa? Why? Like, just when I was ready to maybe try to truly see you as a better person, that's the line that you throw out, really, while Jon's not there and he's king of the North, not because he wanted to be, but because he was pushed basically to be. But that's okay, you know, whatever. She's all, you know, just being her, I guess, and Bran goes full Professor X and tells us some shit that she thinks he should not know. And then she gets scared and runs away. And that was basically Winterfell. Manaro, you take the mic first.
Yeah, the northern scene was kind of flat for me, but the few things that stuck out to me is I appreciate how they showed that Sansa was stepping into the role of being the lady of the house. She was assessing what the current status of the North was, and then giving direction about what to do. And I appreciated that they at least showed that she had some capacity to be able to do those things. Yeah, we still see Littlefinger being real creepy and trying to manipulate her situation, manipulate her. You know what I mean? The Bran homecoming, again, like I agree with you, was kind of flat for me. And to me, Bran almost seems like he's not even human. I don't know if that makes sense, but he's more, it's like he's high. I don't know how else to put it, but he's like on this, he's like a three-eyed raven high type deal. Like he talks very, like his speech is kind of methodical. It has like this cadence to it now. He's not like talking like a normal person. I'm really interested as to what conversation he wants to have with Jon. Is he going to have the conversation about his birth and reveal that to him? So it just seems to me like Bran is no longer. It's like Bran is starting to lose what made him human, because now he just sees himself as the three-eyed raven. Also to your point, AK, the way that Sansa slips in, oh, you are the true born son of Winterfell, so you're the Lord of Winterfell. Stop, full stop. Why are you doing that? Now you're trying to create conflict and division. Great, he is the true born heir. We all get that. But remember, if I remember correctly, you knew your brother was alive from way back, right? You already knew your brother was, from last season, you knew your brother was alive. One. Second, when y'all had gotten to Winterfell, y'all had taken Winterfell over, and Jon offered you the Lord's Chamber, you turned it down and gave it to him. And understanding, when you give the Lord's Chamber to someone, you are in effect saying that I recognize you as being the Lord of the house. I don't know how else to say that plainly other than to say that. So once he was named King in the North, you have now ceded to being one of his subjects. You are his subject. I don't understand that you're family, but you are now one of his subjects. So now for you to turn around when he's not there to do that, that leads me to believe that all that stuff was on the surface. You are just looking out for self. You're looking out for Dolo.
Look at her face.
I understand the fan is on and it's loud, but you see me talking. Do you think maybe you should have said excuse me first?
Auntie teaching mode.
Give me a few minutes and then I'll go and turn it off for you. Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. So I thought that was kind of underhanded on her. At least it's my own personal opinion. I thought that it was kind of underhanded on her part to do that. And I like the way that Bran responded. I can't be the Lord. I can't be the Lord of anything. I already got a role. I already have I already have a place, you know, a role that I fulfill. I am the three-eyed raven. And I thought it was real creepy how he started talking to her about the night of her wedding. The way that he like creeped her out. And I'm just waiting to see how much more creepy he gets while he's up there. And I wonder if he's gonna realize when he sees Littlefinger, if he's gonna see how things played out in the throne room with Littlefinger, and it is gonna be through him that he exposes who Littlefinger is. So I'm kind of waiting to see who's gonna expose Littlefinger. Is it gonna be Bran? Is it gonna be a Sandor Clegane? Somebody's gonna expose Littlefinger. And now we have like all of these little players here, that all the potential people that might expose him. It would be really neat if it was Bran that did it through one of his vision, because he was right next to that werewood. So also, a lot of you were mentioning the tourney of Harrenhal. I wonder if he's gonna have that flashback while he's home. He's gonna have a flashback of the tourney of Harrenhal while he's home. And I think that is all that I've got for the North.
Well said, my lady. I agree on many of those points. D-Baby, take it away.
So I completely disagree with both of you guys. I think this episode showed that she definitely was thinking of the people. The fact that when she was walking down, she was making sure that they were going to get fed. She was making preparations, knowing that if in any case everyone would fled to Winterfell as the safest place. So she was making necessary preparations for the people. I think when she was talking about the mail and how it needs to have leather or something so it can be really armored for the winter that's about to come, I think she's making all these efforts. I think when it comes down to Bran in that situation, I think she's already thinking that Jon's a prisoner and that he's not coming back, because she warned him not to go down there because it was a trap. Later on, we find out it technically was a trap because they took his boats and weapons the second he got there. But you have to give her credit that she was taking the steps not for herself but for the people. And Jon put her in power because he knew that she was the one who was going to make the right decisions. And I think that it goes back to what I said earlier. If it was, I think in a previous stream, if it was Rickon, the little boy, or if it was Bran that was there in Winterfell, I don't think they would have done a King of the North. I think they would have, it wouldn't have been Jon, it would have been one of them, just because they have the name. And that's what I think what was going to happen. So I think she's playing, yes, I think she's playing a game, but I think she's being smart by putting it out there. I'm glad that Bran said, look, I can't have that position. It's just like what Theon said when Dany said, you know, why don't you want to be the king or something like that? And he's like, no, it's for her. Same thing where he's like, no, I can't do that because I'm supposed to be, I know my position is something greater than that. Yes, Bran is creepy as hell. He's weird as fuck right now. I said the exact same thing. I said Bran is off. Something is off about him, but Bran don't have time for none of this shit. He don't have time to like be welcome and warming and all of that because winter's coming. He ain't seen a lot of shit. He knows a lot of shit. And then even though it's weird because Sansa did look pretty in her dress, but to even throw that out there, she was just like, look, I gotta go. The fact that her brother knows about that, because they just show us like the bruises, but we all know what happened. So the fact that her brother's like describing this night to a T is creeping her out. So I understand that she didn't want to show her emotions or that freaked her out, but you also saw that she was trying to understand what was going on. She wasn't thinking about herself. Well, at least that's what I got. So she only thought about Cersei once, but she was mainly focused on making sure that the people were taken care of while Jon was gone. For Winterfell. Oh, Littlefinger I did notice that Littlefinger was, you know, giving her riddles, and then after that he smiled, thinking like he's got the best of her, he's got the wheels going. But through her actions, I do think that Sansa's already been thinking of different outcomes and scenarios, and you see it throughout these scenes. And then you also see that Sansa definitely respects Littlefinger's opinion, because it goes back to that body language. She was walking ahead of all the other people. She dismissed the maester and told him to go and do this. Dismissed Royce because she didn't really, you know how like they'll talk to certain people offside, then they'll talk to people in front of them. So she dismissed the maester because she didn't want him to hear what her real thoughts were. She dismissed Royce because she didn't want him to know. And then that's when she starts walking side by side with Littlefinger, and that's when they get down to business. And Littlefinger's talking about how you're good at commanding. So I think he was fluffing her a little bit, but I think that he was already like, let me start twisting all these thoughts and, you know, confusing her and all this other stuff. So Littlefinger definitely is someone she needs to watch out for, but you can clearly see that she's distanced towards him, so her guards are already up. And that's all I really have to say about.
Word. I can dig that. I can dig all that. Any final thoughts there, Manaro, or we good to head back south?
I don't think you and I disagreed about Sansa. We probably disagreed about, with respect to her, how she was acting in the North. I appreciated how she was assessing the situation in the North. I think we probably may disagree about our thought process about what she was doing when she mentioned that Bran was to me, I think I already have a feeling that Sansa is scheming from like episode 1. Like that's the vibe that she's giving me. Whether or not she is or not, we'll find out by the end of the season. But I just get this vibe like she's scheming. I don't know if she's scheming necessarily to see anybody else's downfall, but scheming for her own personal, like, not necessarily gain, but to secure herself, because everybody's been like tossing her back and forth, and like she's scheming to kind of make sure that that doesn't happen to her again.
Word.
I agree with that. Just want to throw one extra cent out. I do agree with that, but I think that she's plotting, but I think she's plotting as far as to protect her family, kind of like how Cersei is, or was, I should say, when she was plotting and doing all these games. She was hurting a lot of people, but she was ultimately just doing that to protect her family. I see Sansa doing the same thing. Sansa is capable of scheming and possibly betraying people, but I feel like she'll do whatever it takes to protect herself, but also her family. I don't see her plotting against her family. I see her protecting her family more than anything. But I just thought that in this episode, you clearly see that she's stepping up, but you guys saw it in a different way, so it's interesting.
Word. I wouldn't necessarily say it a different way, but no, it is at certain points, definitely. But I appreciate all of you guys' thoughts. Let's see. Let's head over to the chat real quick and give a shout out to some of our most recent people that came in: Tyrion Landstark, Dish, Cheekies, Nyx, BBM, Eli Naris, always in the chats, the great Danny lover that he is. And anyone else I missed, what up? Thank you for coming to hang with us. We are going to move down. He
wanted to be Danny's baby daddy so bad. So bad.
He sure does. He definitely does. And you too, Felicia Eliana. What up? Okay, so head back down to Old Town with Professor Slughorn and Lord Friendzone. He is inspecting Lord Friendzone's wounds and whatnots and gives him a clean bill of health. You know, he's a little suspicious, so he's giving him the side eye. And basically he's like, you know, bitch, why you healthy? I mean, what the hell? This doesn't just happen. And Jorah pulls a John and claims he knows nothing. So, you know, he's Maester still side-eyeing him a little bit, looking between him and Sam. Like, yeah, okay, I know something happened, but I'm going to let it slide for just right now. But I need this room, so I'm going to need you to just roll the fuck out. And that's all I need to say about that. Sam, come see me later. And we're going to have a discussion. So later on, when we get to Professor Slughorn's office, Sam is in there. You know, he does get congratulated on a successful operation, you know, but he's still in trouble because he was playing doctor and he shouldn't have been. So, you know, once he gets that congratulations and whatnot, he's a little bit blushy about it. But then, you know, we see Professor Slughorn drops the hammer, and he's basically like, you know, points to a desk and says, you know, go handle my lightweight real quick. Sam looks like he's about to say something, and Professor just looks at him like, bitch, I don't do that back chat. So I'm gonna need you to calm the fuck down and be lucky, be happy that you're not getting tossed out of here, because you know damn well you did wrong. Great that you saved the man's life, but that was a very dangerous situation for everyone that you put yourself in. So we know that Lord Friendzone is going to find his lady love, because that's, you know, he has nothing else to do with his life. And let's see, what else was there? I think that's basically about it. I appreciated that Professor did tell Sam that, you know, okay, great job, but you could easily have been infected. And what the hell was Jorah doing putting back on them clothes to leave? Because, I mean, don't they still have a disease on them, or were those fresh clothes? It didn't look like fresh clothes to me. I don't know. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. And I think that Sam is actually going to luck out in his punishment, and he's going to find some good little nuggets in those scrolls and manuscripts that he has to now put onto fresh parchment paper. So I'm looking forward to seeing if they do a little bit of that. Manaro, let us discuss.
I actually liked the scene a little bit. I mean, it wasn't over the top, but it was cool. I guess we needed to see the results of Sam's healing. I like the fact when he was speaking with the Maester, he's like, well, how did you do it? He goes, I just read the book and followed the directions. How simple. Follow directions. You might get somewhere.
Follow the book.
Follow the directions in the book. You might get somewhere. I don't think those were the same clothes that he was wearing, because if I recall correctly, in earlier episodes, Jorah was wearing a more white or lighter shirt, and this shirt looked a little darker in color, or grayer in color. No pun intended. But it could have been the lighting. I'm not sure, but the shirt looked like it was darker to me. OT, I had to give you a shout out during that scene, because I was like, you see, Sam was the one that reached out to him first. It wasn't Jorah reaching to touch him. It was Sam reaching to touch Jorah first.
And he was a dumbass for that. He was a dumbass for that. Continue. Stupid ass scene. I hated that scene. Go ahead.
I was like, see, look at that. But again, this was just to kind of like move the story along, because Jorah's fate is tied to Dany, and so he has to get to her at some point in some way. So his fate is tied to Dany, so they had to hurry that along in order to get the plot moving. And I also agree with you, AK. I think Sam is gonna find some things inside of those scrolls and old books. Because I think as soon as the Maester said, you know, this is your gift or something like that, something to I can't remember the exact words he used. I was like, even though the Maester may have meant it for, you know, as a chore, it might actually end up being like a prize for Sam, because he's probably gonna see or read something that is gonna help them, you know, help them in the long run. And that's all I got.
Lady T?
Okay, so you guys know that I hated this scene. This scene made no sense to me. It was fucking stupid. The whole time, all he had to do was just scrape some burnt crust off of him and put like some A&D ointment, and he would have been good. That shit just annoyed me. There was no... So basically, this entire time, Jorah could touch shit, and it really doesn't matter, because at the end, all you have to do is scrape it off and put some cream on it. And then you can do whatever you want at the Citadel because they're not really going to punish you. They're just going to tell you to write copies of books. It makes no sense. And this is probably one of the main reasons why I did not like this episode, because the whole element, it doesn't make sense. It's just like how they did the Faceless Men, where they kind of hurried up and wrapped it up, and it didn't make sense that she could just go in there, give you a bloody face, not even fucking clean it. It says, here, I'm going home. I'm not fucking no one. I'm Arya Stark. And you guys just go, all right, have a good day. Get the fuck out of here. So you think you learned your lessons, but no. You know what the fuck you did? You said, let's hit him with a two-piece. And then you gave us the same bullshit. So George just magically all you have to do is scrape his back off and he's good to go. He can write, he can touch anything. And then you could have gave me all of this bullshit. You have Sam right there who just sent a letter to Jon saying that Dragonstone has all of this fucking dragon glass. You know that George's dumbass is going over there. You mean to tell me you won't say, hey, I saved your life? Put in a fucking word to send those dragon glass to the north, or at least say something? No. You know what that saying was for? To say that Sam's a fucking healer and he can do whatever the fuck he wants because it doesn't matter, because they're not really going to punish him because he fucking cured Grayscale like that. And then you know how they fucking pissed me off at the very fucking end? They do that stupid ass slow-mo when he extends his fucking hands like, oh no, you want to test life, don't you? You think you're so fucking bad you want to test life. And then what do? Oh, you hold his hand. And then he double tap you with the other hand. Like, get the fuck out of here. It felt like they were like, oh, Grayscales, we know that he keeps touching shit. Let's just wrap this up. Like, I bet you they saw my video and was like, she made valid points. Let's just wrap this shit up. So fuck Jorah. I still want his dumb ass to die. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Sam still catches it, or at worst spreads it around, because that's the second time they threw it out there. If nothing happens out of this whole Grayscale, it was pointless to put it in there. I just don't get why you would put this nasty ass disease just to say, oh, it exists and we can cure it now. Like, really? So I don't know. You guys will probably have something good or something better for me to say, but fuck this scene. This scene was fucking stupid to me. And this is why I hated this episode. I didn't hate it, but it was like, really?
Yo, for real, I'm going to give a shout out to Tinker Jasso right now. And if y'all know Tinker like I know Tinker, Tinker gets down with some ranting tea. I think you might have gave her some competition right there, though. And I appreciate it. I really do.
All hail to my Tinker rants. Y'all know I love them. Shout out.
Yes. Tinker, if you want a good rant about anything, yo, watch Tinker when she gets upset about a trailer or something stupid that happens in the show. Girl, be on it. But yeah, I agree with all that. And yes, Renee, again, hashtag Jorah, stop fucking touching shit. Fucks. And you know what, Sam? I might need you to stop touching shit too, because you're getting a little too reckless right now. Just a little bit.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because all of this contagious shit is in our fucking imagination. So only your imagination is an infection. He can touch whatever he wants. We clearly see it doesn't matter. He's been touching shit since he fucking got it, and it doesn't matter. And then he two-tossed him at the fucking end. It just pisses me off. Fuck D&D, man.
Yeah, on that note, Eli Naris just gave you some more titles upon titles. T-Baby, Protector of Touching, Tyrannosaurus, Tarantula, Lover of Golden Hand. Damn, he took your own shit, put it on you.
Only Danny's baby daddy would say that. Calm down, but I will roast your chick later on. She's a fucking Stannis Jr. Okay.
Mine by rights. You know what? The Night King is lightweight to Stannis Jr. a little bit. Because I'm looking at him like he probably like, y'all little bastards thought that y'all can keep this shit. I was here first. It's mine
Danny
by rights.
Stannis Jr. She acts just like him. Mr. All My Life. I'm here to rule. Like, I'm so glad John checked it. Like, who the fuck are you? You know I'm jumping ahead. Sorry.
Okay, yes, yeah. And you know what? We are just going to go on ahead and go to Dragonstone. And this is where I will give the mic over to Lady Manaro with the summaries, please.
All right, y'all can hear me? All right. So Dragonstone. So we start with Dragonstone with John and Davos landing on Dragonstone in their little boat. It's a little tiny like skiff.
He stole the
A little
boat.
tiny skiff like they Moana.
I was wondering about that. But I'll wait. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know, like they Moana. They just got a skiff, and there was like no ship on the horizon that back there. It's like
now
they rolled.
My head is stuck with that damn Moana song now. Thanks.
Son, it's an excellent thought though.
So and then Tyrion and Jon meet. They exchange, some quips. They start walking. He introduces Missandei. Missandei, I don't know what she was talking about, but all good. Then they see the dragons as they're walking up, walking up. I like the way that Davos, sorry, 1 second. Keep your voices down, please. Keep your look, leave them alone. Go sit on the other side of the chair. Sorry about that. She needs to stop touching.
That was just too perfect.
And I like the way that Davos tried to have like this little exchange with Missandei, but she's like the queen of perpetual side eyes. So, and I like the way that he said, "This place has changed. No, Davos, you are no longer in Kansas." And like when they were walking and they saw the dragons, that was cool. I like the look on their faces when that happened. And then we finally get to Jon and Daenerys meeting each other. And Missandei introduces her with all of her 1,000 titles. And then Davos comes up and says, "This is Jon Snow. He's king in the north." And that's it. Drop mic.
I love that part. That bitch got a lot of names.
Yo, John's fucking face on that shit though. He turned to Davos like, bruh, say something.
No, but the look on John's face when Missandei, the look on John's face when Missandei's rattling off all of her titles, like the
like, bitch, are you gonna be done anytime soon? I'm on a time schedule.
She remind me of that song, John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. Damn, bitch. How many names? Like, what's the nickname? We got like there's a fucking Night King come. He's like, Brand, like, bitch, I don't have time. Can we speed it up? Like, why am I here, bitch? Stop. Go ahead.
And so, of course, she refers to Jon as my lord, and then Davos was like, "I'm sorry, maybe my flea bottom accent is like to pieces, but he is king." He goes. And so she starts talking. She tries to take things back to Tormund Stark. And then Jon was like, "Hold up, your daddy burnt my granddaddy and my uncle alive." So she had to kick it back and say, "You know what? I'm real sorry for what my dad did, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, tone it down. You got to bring it down a couple of notches." So she was like, "So you going to bend the knee?" He was like, "Nah, I ain't doing all that. I'm not here for all that. I'm here to help you, and I need your help." He kind of goes through, and to me, it just seems to me that Jon was like the more mature person in this exchange. The next thing we have we have this scene with Varys and Melisandre, which I really found kind of interesting because he was trying to troll her like, "Oh, why you not trying to meet your people? Didn't you just come up here?" You was like, "Oh, you need to see Keith in the North, but you're not down there to meet him." So, he's like putting in his digs. She was like, "No, my time of whispering in King's ears is over. I did my part. I'm off to Volantis." He was like, "Well, Bia, you better not come back." She was like, "Sorry, I'm destined to die here, and so are you," and then walks off into the sunset. So I wonder what she's gonna be doing in Volantis.
Son. Yes.
And then Dany receives word about what happened to the Greyjoy fleet and that you know, the Dorn, you know, that they captured Ilaria, Yara, and Tyene. And so she's ready to go out there and like burn Euron's fleet with the dragons, but they were like, "No, bring it back. You know, take it back 10,000." Then they talk about. Then Tyrion goes on to talk about Castle Rock and how the Unsullied is going to take Castle Rock. Blah blah blah. Then we have another conversation with Tyrion and Jon where they're talking about, you know, he's going to brood about what happened. And of course, Jon is like the king of brooding. And so they have a quick exchange. And this is where Tyrion made that slide dig, like, if there's something that you want to ask. And he's like, what are you talking about? He goes, you are from the North. Is there something I could help you with, bruh? Throwing him a bone. And so I guess that's the point that Jon asks for the dragon glass, to mine their dragon glass. And then he also tells the same thing to Danny, let them mine it. It probably doesn't mean anything. You didn't even know it was here. So what does it matter to you? Let them have it. We're just trying to get them as allies, especially now they're going to need it. And then we have another scene with Danny and Jon, which again fell a little flat to me. They just exchanged the fact that they both lost 2 of their brothers, and that was about it. And he asked if he was a prisoner or whatnot, blah blah blah. And that's all I was able to write down for Dragonstone.
All right, thank you very much for that summary. That was pretty much it. One thing that really stood out to me is them red women be having Varys shook as fuck. Like, did y'all see his face after Melisandre spit that game and dropped the mic and rolled out on him? Like, damn, that shit was nuts. And if she is going back to Volantis, might we see Kinvara making some moves over there? Because it seems like Kinvara has a higher position than Melisandre does in their order, but I don't really know how or if that's even going to come into play. So I guess we'll see there. Yeah, their whole introduction and her damn titles. I was sitting here the whole time shaking my head like, Missandei, you're beautiful, I love you, but please hurry up and shut the fuck up. Like, I don't need to know all of this. We already know she has 1,001 names. Thank you very much. Moving on. But at that same point, you know, I thought it was hilarious the way Jon was looking at her, hearing all them titles, and then she stopped and he looked back at Davos like, well, I guess you should say something. I mean, that apparently is what they do in the South. So Davos, the G that he is, this is Jon Snow. He's king of the North. What I mean, what else is there? He don't have all them titles. Really don't want all them titles. Didn't even want the one that he has. So we just gonna keep it simple. And here's what needs to happen. This broad tried to go into a history lesson, and I'm glad that Jon brought up all that stuff. I might have brought up a little bit more had it been me, but he basically hit her with the are you forgetting something, my lady? Are you forgetting a couple points in that history? Kudos to Dany for apologizing, though. I think she has gotten a bit too cocky in this episode. And I won't say that she necessarily needs to be brought down a peg, but she needs to use a bit more logic and not just expect that everyone's going to bend the knee. Even if they come to talk to her about any one thing, this, that, and the other, you still need to tone it down a little bit. You're not on the real throne just yet. And there's bigger fish to fry. Jon didn't have time for that shit. He was just looking like, look, this is what needs to happen. I need you, you need me. Let's parlay about this shit and, you know, cut all that dumb sidebar nonsense because some shit is going down that you don't know about. And luckily Tyrion was there to vouch for Jon. I did feel bad for him when they took his little boat, and I really was looking on the horizon like, did y'all just row? Did y'all pull a Gendry and just row that little thing all the way from the north? Like, where is the Manderly fleet? Like, didn't you send any other guards or anything with him besides Davos? Like, he should have came in there with at least 10, maybe 20 other people. But what do I know? I'm just a watcher of the show. I don't know. Let's see what else big went down there. When Tyrion convinced her to, you know, give Jon something as like a first step in their, you know, what could be their partnership. I thought that was well done on his part. And he did call him out like, yeah, you definitely are a Northerner. I see your daddy in you, even though we know that's Ned ain't his daddy. The similarities are still there. Ned is the man that raised him. And, you know, like Yanto said, you know, he might have been your father, but he ain't your daddy. Ned is that boy's daddy, plain and simple. And he's acting just like Ned. He needs to be a bit smarter. I will. One other point that I might agree on Sansa with is he needs to be smarter. I love when the dragons flew through because my babies just look so beautiful flying around like that. And you know, Jon and Davos did not go straight to the throne room after that. They had to go change their britches because dragons. You don't just see that shit and not be affected. But I think T, you'll probably have some better thoughts than I did. So take it away, please.
I really don't. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Like I said, another reason why I didn't care for this episode, because even though some of the conversation between Dany and Jon were interesting, it didn't need to be like 18 to 20 minutes of them talking. Like, give me 10 minutes and move on. But I like the fact, first, let me say that she was acting so much like Stannis, it was annoying the fuck out of me. Oh, bend the knee, bend the knee. Like, it's mine by right, because I had the name. So I'm glad that Jon checked and was like, why should I, like, go fight your war because of your name when I'm clearly trying to fight for the people? The difference is that you're over here trying to claim what's yours because of a name you hold, while Jon's actually been liberated by his own people. Two completely different things. I get why she's being so defiant against Jon, because Tyrion said that, you know, you have to be careful giving people kingships and queenships, because then everyone is going to want to claim that they're king or queen somewhere. So when she comes to Westeros, she sees exactly what Tyrion was saying. But my thing is that you were so quick to give the Greyjoys of all people queenship, kingship, but then you see that, and then you see people who actually voted for Jon to be the king. No one voted for Yara to be queen. They elected Euron. So basically, you were trying to usurp him. Like, it's fucked up how he did it, but you're not the queen. So they're two different scenarios where you should have been hesitant with the Greyjoys, but you definitely should have addressed Jon as a king. And I think she said Grace, but then she switched it up and said Jon Snow, and then she just kept switching it up. Another thing that I like is that Dany and Davos was going back with her accomplishments. She's like, you know, I set these people free. He's like, but Jon united those people. And she's like, well, I did this. And he's like, but Jon did that. I like that they went tit for tat. Well, however that saying goes. I like that. I'm trying to think what else, because I did think it was kind of boring. I thought Dany was being a lot like Stannis. Oh, I knew when she kept saying that to bend the knee, bend the knee. I was like, Jon's not going to bend the knee. It's a callback to season 4 after Castle Black. Tormund said, you know, you'll never kneel. You've been around us too long. And then to top it off, after that, he went above the wall to where Mance and Stannis was at. And Stannis kept telling Mance to bend the knee, bend the knee. And he also said to a point that, you know, you would risk all your people, just bend the knee. And Mance was like, no. So when you put those into perspective, there's no way Jon was going to bend the knee. So I knew that for a fact. It also goes with Sansa being right that he shouldn't have gone. Even Tyrion said that you shouldn't have went. No, Tyrion said that if he was advising Jon, he would have told you not to. All your people told you not to do it. And another reason why I think that Jon wasn't going to be, he couldn't bend the knee, is because it's the same thing that the little history lesson she was throwing at Jon. Jon left as a king. There's no way he can go back as Warden of the North when his people elected him to be king. And then on another point, they told him not to go. All of his people said, don't go. Nothing happens when Starks go down south. And here you are back in the same position. She took your boat, she took your weapons, and that was it. You were her prisoner, basically, because even though they weren't treating him hostile, it was kind of like Sansa. She could walk around the castle and everything, but she couldn't leave. Same thing with Jon. So I get where, and then just to give her credit, I understand why she's hesitant about a lot of the things he's saying. But what kind of throws me off, and again, I didn't care for this episode, is that, bitch, you can believe that dragons exist, can't be burnt, but White Walkers is pushing it. Like, that's where you say you're taking shit too far. Like, sit the fuck down. Like, that makes no sense to me. I could see if she didn't have dragons and all of this, but she's doing all of these incredible things and was hyping herself up, saying, I believe in myself, and that's all well and good. But the idea of White Walkers coming is not so far-fetched, especially if you can believe that dragons exist. Like, this is something that shouldn't happen, yet it's happening. Like, you witnessed 2 times of you trying to be burnt, and it doesn't happen. So it just seems crazy that you don't believe these White Walkers, but you can believe in dragons and all the other stuff. And then also when, you know, Danny and John were talking again, and she ends up giving him dragon glass, I thought, if anything, it should have been a little bit more dialogue on that instead of the same conversation they basically had a few minutes ago when they were inside. But I thought that maybe that means because Tyrion did a solid for him to get the dragon glass, because that was his main mission, that I think it's either he's going to owe Tyrion a favor, maybe in the later on episodes, or it just established a strong relationship between them two because they actually did provide them with the dragon glass. But once again, it was a okay episode. They should have shortened some of this dialogue so that we could have actually saw how they took over Highgarden. But the only reason why they didn't show us how they took Highgarden over is because you would have had to show Jaime fighting. And what happened? He can't fight. So therefore, you have to gloss it over, and all he's doing is walking. We'll get to that. Let me stop skipping. But it's like, fuck Jaime, because he's a bitch, y'all. And I just wish that you could have shortened this stupid ass conversation. I get it. Danny's like, bend the knee. We know John not gonna do it. You end up giving him the dragon glass anyway. Cool, cool, cool. It's like, come on, like, give me that fight scene, but you can't, because it doesn't make sense for one hand Jaime to be fighting all these other people. Like, he can't even fight a stable boy. He said that himself. Y'all have anything else to say?
I love when T goes in. Seriously, one of my favorite things to listen to. And thank you for bringing up that point with the back and forth with Davos. I forgot to speak on that. I very much enjoyed that, and I think Danny definitely has some things to think about in hearing that. And I totally agree with y'all. Like, I was in one of the chats last night saying, like, bitch, you have dragons. You walked out of 2 fires that should have killed you, and you're alive. But you don't think the dead can walk? You should, right here is where she really needed to have been, like Stannis. You should have been on the team and trying to go north. But, you know, it's whatever. I guess we'll see how that pans out later. Lady Manaro, did you speak already? I'm sorry. Y'all know I smoke them weirwood. Sometimes I'll be forgetting.
No, go ahead and finish your thoughts. I'll wrap up with.
No, that was it. Those few points that I forgot to point out when I was speaking. Go ahead.
Makes you mad, don't it? Makes you mad. Like, some of this shit doesn't make any type of sense, but okay.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you, T. That whole thing was like flat for me. It had. They could have skipped all the titles, all the name dropping. They could have skipped all of the, all of the things that we already know, everything that she went through. Everybody has watched all of the previous seasons, or you've probably read the books. You already know everything that there was no need to rehash all of that. That a lot of that dialogue could have been cut off. I agree with that. It did fall very flat. I think a couple of the standouts was, I like that John didn't back down while she was going off on according to T, how T said it, her Stannis tirades, that John didn't back down or cower to her. Even when Tyrion tried to smooth, what's the big deal? Just, kneel and swear your sword. He was like, hold up, no offense, but I don't even know you. I don't know you like that. You just claiming to be the queen because of your name. What, you don't know anything, and then you trying to spit off all the things that you've done. Yeah, but you didn't do them here. You wasn't here doing those things. You were across the water doing all. I don't know nothing about what's going on across the water. All I know is what I've been going through here, what's been going on in this particular kingdom, which you don't know anything about. You know what I mean? So I like the pushback, because now she's gonna have to understand that you can't just come in and claim that you're queen and then people are just gonna bow to you, because that's just not how it's gonna work. Even you said that the season previously, oh, am I supposed to believe that people are just, you know, waiting in their houses and gonna just like welcome me with open arms as their queen? You know the deal. So you can't expect that people are just gonna bow to you, at just because you're Daenerys Targaryen and you got 3 dragons. Because the first thing she does when Jon wouldn't bow to her, she goes, "Well, did you see my dragons?" Who cares? Everybody knows you got dragons. So you're gonna threaten everybody with a dragon. You're gonna threaten everybody with the fact that you got dragons. So you got dragons, so much go use them.
Right.
I like the way that they called it. The reason why you haven't invaded Westeros because you're not trying to kill everybody. You need us. So I don't know why you sitting up here trying to act like, you know, like you all of that. You got 3 dragons. What the hell do you need to be talking to us for?
There is one other point I wanted to point out, is that Davos was, when he was going in saying these are all the accomplished Jon did, he united the people, he took a stabbing in the heart for the people. She peeped that, but it made me think of Nisa when they brought up that whole knife in the heart thing. I was like, that's pretty interesting. But I think AK also has something to say, but she ain't back yet.
Yeah, I am. Just another thing to really drive the point home with Dany and not believing about the army of the dead. Bitch, you saw what happened in Karth with them damn sorcerers. You experienced all that shit in the House of the Undying, and you really fixed your mouth to say that Jon was just making this shit up. Why would he travel all the way down there telling you that he needs your help? To what would that accomplish, really, if he was just lying? What would that accomplish? Nothing. But that was my final thought. It doesn't make sense that she would just dismiss something so easily with all the shit that she's seen and been through. That's it. Go ahead, Manaro.
The only other point that I want to move past the whole Dany and Johnny thing. The whole thing, the Dany and Jon thing.
Is that your Johnny withdrawal coming through right there?
I know, right? The scene with Varys and Melisandre, that scene was what stood out more to me than anything else. That little snippet, because now it has me like really thinking about what's getting ready to come, because now we're seeing a maturing of Melisandre, right? Because before she was walking.
I agree with you on that. I didn't think about it till you start actually saying it, but the way that Varys looked when she said, "And you'll die too," it makes me think, like, what did he hear in those flames? Like, could it be like Cersei, where you know your death already? So interesting thought. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
and the way that she said it, like she had resolve when she said it. Like, I'm going to Volantis, and he tried to threaten her, say, "Well, I wouldn't come back." She's like, "Son, oh, you sweet, my sweet summer child. I'm destined to die here in this place, and so are you."
Right, like that was the main thing that stood out. Like, these red women have Varys fucking scared. So damn scared. And anytime something like that happens, because Varys is the most chill in respect to how plans and situations work. If something messes up, he's already got like a plan A through D to cover it and mix it in, and he never panics, except for the one time Kinvara put them words on him, and now when Melisandre has said something to him. So I'm interested to seeing where that whole thing turns out. And T, you got something else to add in? Go ahead.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you just said. But it was also when Dany was throwing back the whole assassin, like, "Oh, wasn't that your father's best friend?" Trying to throw it back, like, you can say that my father's cruel, but it seems like your father was cool, or at least kept company, realizing, not knowing the whole story, that that's the whole reason why Ned even stopped talking to Robert at one point, was because he was willing to kill babies just because they were Targaryen. So that was another, even though she doesn't know these things, a part of me was like, see, bitch, if you would just shut up and listen, you would know that that's not Ned. But, and that's something even I think Tyrion just informed her more about Ned and all these other people that had played a role in the downfall of her father. But those are my 2 cents. I just forgot that she mentioned that and was like, come on now.
Yeah, and that just reminded me also, like, why did, when she brought up that, you know, who gave the order to send assassins after me and my brother and whatnot, why did Varys not speak up and say, you know, the only person that disagreed with all of that in time, and not even in time, but from the very beginning, was Ned Stark? Why did Varys not inform her of that? Just that doesn't make sense to me, but you know, it's whatever. Go ahead, Manaro.
Yeah, I totally agree with. I'm also like, didn't Barristan in one of those seasons tell her about Ned? Like, she was talking about Ned and blah blah blah, and or maybe I'm thinking about in the book.
Yeah.
No, season 4, he was telling her about it. He was saying like how it wasn't exactly the way she thought it was. Like,
yeah, he hinted towards it, but he didn't really go into detail. In the book, though, he did like specifically say, you know, these are the things that I know of Ned Stark and of House Stark, and you really need to rethink your outlook on them. But you know, Dany's stubborn as shit, so. I mean, 13 years of having Viserys as like the one person that's in your ear, and you know, you get kind of stupid.
I mean, everyone, if you lasted this long, I feel like you've done some stupid shit. I just see everyone for dumbasses sometimes. Like, sometimes
True.
when I'm talking about John, I end up calling him Leroy Jenkins because of the video.
Leroy Jenkins.
And sometimes when I'm trying to say Jamie, his name's not coming up, and I call him Golden Dumbass so much that instantly when I see the actor, I'm like, oh, Golden Dumbass. But I gotta start calling these people by their names.
Man, fuck that. From here on out, I'm gonna start referring to Jamie as, you know, Trapped in the Vagina Nebula. You know, shout out Neil Gaiman and American Gods.
Stuck on pussy and just doing stupid shit. Like, and just to put Eli, he got played twice in one episode. Twice. But we'll get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get to the reach later, Manaro.
Okay, so we're gonna just do Castle Rock and then Highgarden.
Yeah. Go ahead, mix them together.
Okay, so there wasn't really much going on at Castle Rock. The Unsullied got there, they took it over, they used that underground tunnel, you know, and went in through that underground tunnel that Tyrion had built when he was doing the sewer system. And they went in and they pretty much like murked everybody. So Grey Worm lives to see another day for now. And then we really find out. So I don't know if anybody has anything to add with respect to Castle, because Grey Worm picked up that, yo, there's supposed to be more people here. Where is everybody? Like, it was just way too easy the way that they took it. Like, there wasn't that many people there, so he kind of picked up on that. And when they looked across, they saw Euron burning all of their ships. I don't know why people just don't be having lookouts and like a horn or something to say, yo, somebody's coming, or do some evasive maneuvers. You're just letting these people like throw, like, I don't get it. I didn't get that part. I don't know if anybody has anything else to add with respect to Castle Rock.
I think Grey Worm was on beast mode. I really did appreciate how they executed the plan. Like, when I was watching, and a couple of y'all were in the chats with me when I was watching, and I saw them like storming the front of the castle with the ladders and stuff, I was like, okay, that's the decoy. And Grey Worm and maybe one or two other folks are going in through the sewers, you know, because of Tyrion. And then, you know, we expanded to the Reach, and I was like, oh no, wait, that whole thing at Castle Rock was the real decoy. And it was just awesome. And I have to stop talking because Tiny Human, what's wrong with the Tiny Human? She looks sad.
She's trying to butter me up to feed her. It's late.
You got to feed the babies, Manaro.
It's too late. She's gonna wake up. She's gonna go to sleep, and she's gonna wake up with stomach pains. It's too late.
Yeah. I mean, well, get her a glass of milk, at least something to fill the void.
She'll be okay. Don't worry about it. She'll be okay.
Lord Commander doesn't like sad tiny humans. They are my one weakness. But let's see. Yeah, Marco just made the call back to Bronn saying, you know, give me a few good men and I'll impregnate the bitch, which is a line that Tyrion said, and I think, you know, I'll give credit to D&D here. That was a great fucking line for that part in the episode, so I do appreciate that. Let's see. Let me look. And also, Ricky, thank you for coming into the chat. Phil H has recently got here. I think there was one other person that I may have missed. I'm sorry. I can't scroll all the way up because the chat cuts off at a certain point. But thank you, all of you guys, for being here right now. We got 21 views, 21 people viewing, 22 people viewing. So I appreciate the hell out of everybody sitting here listening to us ramble. Y'all know we'll be on some nonsense. So I'm glad you appreciate our nonsense. We appreciate you.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I forgot what part we were on.
We're in the Westerlands and the Reach.
Oh, so basically we're at the end, basically.
Yeah, meld it all together. Speak on everything.
My bad. Okay, so once again, of course, I didn't like Jamie. Once again, like, I'm gonna throw out all his shameful things he does because I just can't. But once again, he's killing senior citizens, and now he's becoming more of a bitch because he's using poison. But one thing I will say is they're throwing out this whole Valonqar, giving us these little subtle hints. If you haven't checked out Sam's video on her thinking that Arya is going to be the Valonqar, check it out because it's either going to be Jamie or Arya, in my opinion. Hit the like button and also comment if you guys want me to do a separate video because I sure will get into details about that because I'm starting to see these little subtle hints that Cersei's definitely going to die through poison and something else. I think it's going to be like a 2 type of thing. But the whole thing where, let me first say that I was disappointed that we didn't get a fight, a battle with Highgarden to see what happened. But when I start to think about it, Jamie can't fight. So you can't show us him actually on the battlefield. Maybe he's a commander and he was just sitting back and watching everything. But the only thing I will give this man credit is that he did learn from the past and he used the same tactics that Rob used on him, where he sacrifices a few men, but the real threat is somewhere else to get the bigger prize, which in the season 1 was, it was season 2, I believe, but it was season 2 where Rob had captured Jamie and got the bigger prize, but sacrificed the men to get it. And here you have Jamie using the same thing, knowing Castle Rock really doesn't have that much value anymore, and the real value is actually Highgarden. I thought that was really wise. It still makes me think that Tarly is going to use that situation to his advantage because I just don't see that he turned his back on his so-called friend just to take her claim like that, especially because he threw back about honor and his house meaning something, blah, blah, blah. But I just see him possibly pushing on his son to Cersei to take kingship. It's got to be something, in my opinion, for him to really go out to go against her like that. But I love the fact that they think that they have won. And sorry, y'all, my cat's trying to get in my room right now. So I think that it was interesting. It was funny that, you know, Jamie thinks that he's got it all in the bag and he's won. And she lets him know at the very end that I'm the one that killed your son. And I want Cersei to know it. So basically, Cersei's going to be mad at you because you gave You took away an option for her to torture this person who is directly one of the reasons why her son is gone. And Joffrey was her favorite. She said, you know, we all have favorite. And I know it's like you want to say it was Marcella, but we know that Joffrey was really Cersei's favorite. I'm trying to think what else about the whole. It just shows you that Cersei is outwitting Tyrion and Dany because she's willing to do ruthless things. She's willing to do whatever it takes to keep her crown, especially because she knows it's all odds against her. And she took away Dorne from Dany. She took away Highgarden from Dany. She even has your Unsullied stuck at Castle Rock because they can't go nowhere because their ships have been burned by Euron. And I believe they say it's impregnable, but I feel like what they're going to do is they're going to hold the Unsullied at Castle Rock. So now you don't really have the Unsullied like that because you put most of them at Castle Rock. So really all you have is 3 dragons and a Dothraki. So now you're pushing Dany to a position where she has to use her dragons, which Olenna did give Dany good advice, be a fucking dragon, because when you're dealing with Cersei, you can't play these politics. She's been playing this game far longer than you, and you've only been a conqueror, but you can't just conquer. You need to have all these different lords and houses for you, and right now you're not inspired any loyalty. She has the people going against you. She has control, and she has the forces to actually take you down. They keep throwing this idea that she can actually, that contraption is going to kill a dragon. I don't see it. I'm sorry. Dragons will zigzag. But overall, I just feel like I laughed because once again, this is Jaime getting played twice in one episode because like I said earlier, Cersei played him, fucked him so he would do his duty and do what she needs him to do, which is kill a senior citizen, and he does it, and then gets played again by the person he was supposed to kill because she says, I'm the one that killed your son, and he is furious. I'm curious how he's going to take that information to Cersei because he now knows that Tyrion's innocent. Is that even going to matter at this point because he's already chosen sides? And then if he still sticks with Cersei knowing all this information, that just shows how much of a bigger bitch he is. And I'm telling you, that man is most likely going to die this season because you can't tell me that one hand Jaime can beat a Dothraki or a fucking dragon. You can't tell me that. I don't believe it. Even he told you he cannot fight. We saw how the Battle of Bastards was. We saw how hard they had to fight. You really want to sit here and tell me Jaime can't put it up with the best ones? No. So I feel like that's the main reason why we didn't get a battle scene in Highgarden. I know a battle scene has to soon happen. They're not just going to leave us hanging without any battle scenes. But if Jaime is in a battle scene, they do show him, y'all can kiss that dude goodbye. And I still think that Grey Worm is going to die. It's just a matter of time. Sorry if you like Grey Worm. He's cool, but he's going to die. And Jaime's going to die. And I don't really care if Jaime dies. Or, you know, I'm probably going to smile. But that's it.
Yeah, one thing I did forget to touch on, and thank you T for bringing it up, was Lady Olenna with the whole thing with the Reach. That conversation with Lady Olenna is what stood out the most to me. Like, she basically just broke him all the way down. And I'm gonna give a shout out here to Nikki Star TV. If you guys like discussions and reaction videos, check out her channel. I found her with when American Gods came out, and she was a reactor and discussion person for that. Lady Olenna basically is like the epitome of shade. And when I get to that age, I want to be able to throw shade like that. Like, before you even know that I'm actually tossing you this L, I'm going to say it, and you're going to get it 2 years later and be like, damn, I should have listened. Like, Lady Olenna, the Queen of Thorns, she is on the level that only an older person can be. Like, because they've seen that much life. They've seen everything probably twice. And she is the quickest, wittiest person in the whole series. To me, like, maybe Tyrion is like a close second to her, but she is queen of that shit, Queen of Thorns. You know, she doesn't have that name for no reason. Her title is everything that she is. And I love that conversation because, like, you guys that watched my live stream, the first thing I noticed was she said, your son. She didn't say the prince or the king, Joffrey, your son. Like, she knew what the fuck exactly was going on. And the look on Jaime's face, like T said, he was furious. Like, I almost thought for a second that maybe Jaime was messing with her with that poison, and it was going to be that, you know, he wanted her to start spouting off stuff just so he could catch her, and then she was going to live and get tortured or whatever. But no, he actually gave her the real poison, and now he kind of had like that Cersei level fury in his eyes, but he knows he can't do anything about it. So I'm wondering if any fruition will come of that, if he will actually tell Cersei, or if he even cares to know now that his brother that he did love is truly innocent. I don't think it'll matter in the long run, but it was that I really love that conversation, that farewell. She gave her last bit of shade, gave all the tea. I am surprised though that she didn't say anything about Littlefinger's involvement with it also, but you know, that's probably not going to be even of a consequence in the long run. So that was that.
I think that the reason why she didn't give up Littlefinger, because then that's just giving Cersei a better advantage. As long as Littlefinger out there, there's a threat to Cersei. She's not going to help Cersei at all. I also wanted to say one more thing about Jaime that once again just irritates me about this man, because he's talking about how Cersei, when she makes the world and have peace under her leadership, it's like, you know damn well that Cersei doesn't care about nobody. In fact, she threatened to burn the city to the ground, if I remember her saying, just to prove that, you know, to get her daughter back or something like that. She doesn't care about these people. These are the same. It's like what Jaime said. These are the same people that were booing her and throwing and calling her a whore not too long ago. Cersei couldn't care less about these people. And then you also know that she doesn't care because she burned the sept, and there were innocent people in that sept. So it's just like bullshit when he's talking to Olenna, talking about, oh yeah, and she's gonna make this peaceful land. And you'll see, it's like, if you just get off the tip for 1 second and step back, like he said, he's a slow learner. So even he's calling himself stupid. He called himself a dumbass. So you can't get mad at me if I call him a golden dumbass, because he called himself a golden dumbass. So that's on him. That's how much of a dumbass he is. But he said it, and he's basically saying that she also, Lady Olenna says, like, you're so far gone, there's no coming back. And then he just gets mad. It's like the same conversation he had with Edmure. He talking about how much he loves his sister so much, and then he throws it back at him saying, you know, he doesn't care. That's nothing to be proud of. Why should he care? And then he kind of sucks it back up. So I'm just over Jaime. I think that he's delusional if he really thinks Cersei is fit to be ruler.
Jaime seems to me to have like a permanent weird Stockholm syndrome, because if you look at the history, I mean, and I guess it's a bit of a tie-in to the books as well, but every time he's been manipulated into anything, it was because of Cersei, because he was chasing that damn vagina nebula, and it always got him hemmed up. And this again is a callback to all of Cersei's plans eventually backfiring on her. You know, we saw what happened with Tommen. What they didn't show in the show, but is in the books, when Jaime was named to the Kingsguard, it wasn't just really on merit. Cersei told him to get on the Kingsguard, so you know when she marries Rhaegar, they would be together at King's Landing. But then that bullshit happened and it backfired, and he ended up staying in King's Landing while she was in the Westerlands with Tywin. Everything Cersei touches eventually backfires, and this couple of wins that she has is not going to be of any consequence, because she's going to pay for it very, very dearly. And Lady D, I see, has arrived in the chat. Damn it, get your ass on here. We ain't done just yet, madam. Let's hear your thoughts,
I just want to piggyback real quick with what you said, because I totally agree with everything you said. But I lost my train of thought while you were talking, so never mind. It's not that important. I just think it's
My
a
bad, I'm
joke
sorry.
that, I mean, y'all know my thought, it goes, and once it goes, it's gone, and I ain't chasing it. But yeah, I would love for B to get her ass in here so we can real quick hear her thoughts. But yeah, I just find that this whole Cersei Jamie thing is a complete joke. I agree with you when see, my thought came back. I agree with you when you said about how she's not going to win this whole war completely. It's just like how Rob was. He was winning all of these battles, but initially lost the war. I think the same thing's going to happen to her. She's on too much of a winning streak, but I think that she's getting like how Danny is, where you're getting and so she's like letting people see that she's fucking her brother openly. Like, that shit's cool. It will never be cool. I'm sorry, but not really. So I agree with you on that. That's it. I have nothing else to say about these nasty ass twins. These dirty ass twins.
Yo, B, for real, man. Cut that nonsense out, man. Get on here and give us your thoughts. Yes, this is peer pressure. Bring your ass on here right now. Peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure. Come on, Professor Diligence. The class is waiting.
Evil little monsters that should all die. We're all.
The class is waiting. We have our quills and parchment and ink ready here to take notes from the master. Professor, we are waiting on you. I need you to come on through, please. Thank you.
It's so funny. Leroy Jenkins. That's John. I'm sorry. John said stupid shit.
Oh, there she is. There she is. I need you to come on through, please. Thank you. Somebody forgot to.
I need you to mic that YouTube, though. John, I'm sorry. John said stupid shit.
See, sorry. We're messed up. I hope you guys good for you. That's what you get. Messed up your stream. I heard what you said, T. That was messed up.
But it got your ass on here, though.
Show did.
But my trolling works, okay? I like Children of the Forest, and I kind of think it's backwards, you know. I think it's a civil war going on, but we're not going to go into that.
Okay, so.
But I just trolled to get you in here.
All right, Professor Diligence, thank you for coming on to the panel. We are basically at the end. So if you would not mind giving us a mini monologue, maybe / rant, if you have some aggravations with this episode, give us your rundown of all of the areas, please. What did you think of this episode?
Okay, so if you have this, Naro, like, or anybody, y'all have like a breakdown? I came to you, Naro, first because I figured you probably have it. It's not a breakdown, but like a, like an outline. It's probably just shoot me a point and I'll say something, shoot me another point.
Really just go down by section, talk all about Dragonstone, then talk all about King's Landing, then talk about the Miraculous, which would be, we talked about Sansa. We didn't really talk about Theon because wasn't much to say about Theon.
Yeah, that was like 2 seconds worth of dumbass screen time. Okay. Fuck Theon.
Start off with Dragonstone. Go ahead. Okay, first thing I noticed was, and I love these little details, but y'all go back and watch that and see how they looked at Missandei. Noted that, but like the way that John and Davos was looking at Missandei, it was like, we don't know what you are. Like, who? It was just, John was just staring at her for a second, and it was like, give me your weapons, and then it was like back to reality, like, oh, what? And what do you mean take my weapons? And then when they took off with the ship, like the Northmen were looking like, you gotta be kidding me. I thought that was cool. I really liked the little clues that they were dropping with Jon being a Targaryen. Like when he said that he wasn't a Stark and the dragon went over his head and stuff like that. And Dany sitting there talking about she's the last dragon and things. I thought that was cool. I did expect Dany to act the way she did. I know a lot of people didn't. I expected her to act that way because she feels like she's the rightful, queen of the 7 kingdoms. So it was interesting to finally see them together. It was cool to see fire and ice meet, and it was really cool to see Tyrion back with Jon again. I'm trying to be quick. I think some hilarious, trying to be fast and running it back through my head, is the title thing, and I'm sure you guys talked about that. But having all those titles for Daenerys, like the Unburnt and the Broken Chains and like all the stuff, and he was like, yeah, this is John. He is the king in the north. Like, it's this dude.
Right.
We talked about that. That bitch got a little too many titles. Keep it 2 and keep it moving. John ain't got time for that shit.
That's it. He just didn't. He really was there like on a mission. Like it just wasn't even. And I think we all sensed that. I didn't expect for him to take the knee. I expected him to go there and be like, I want the glass. And then, seeing, him being a king and her being a queen, it only makes sense that they would ally and possibly marry anyway. So there's that. I'm trying to be fast.
Don't be fast. Take your time. Give us all of your thoughts, Professor. We are here taking notes.
I get it's like because it's so much you want to say. That's why I said stick to one location.
Yeah.
So you talked about Danny and John. What about how you felt with Tyrion and John?
I loved seeing Tyrion and John together again. Like it was like I don't know, it was one of those reunions that I guess I hadn't thought about really. But then when I saw it, I was happy that it happened. I figured that Sansa wouldn't have spoken too, badly about Tyrion because of how he was. He's far from the worst Lannister. And so I didn't think there would be any contention there. And I thought it was absolutely adorable, the whole, bastard of Winterfell, imp of Casterly Rock. But you could kind of get the sense that it was going to be like that from Tyrion's letter to John, where he was like, my favorite bastard or whatever. So it was one of those sweet things that I wasn't expecting, but I was really happy that I got to see. And yeah, I don't know what John is going to do because he doesn't know how to play the game. That's what I noticed. I think that's the thing that came out the most from this to me is that he doesn't have it at all. John doesn't have it. And Davos, interestingly enough, Davos is able to maneuver like he's magicked or something like that, but he really doesn't have anybody down here with them to play the game. It's almost like Sansa should have been down there to play the game for him. But I don't know. Other than that, I think it was a cute scene. We were waiting on it. I wish there could have been some more interaction between him and the dragons. And I appreciate that they gave him and Danny some alone time, but I wish there was more, that led up to us being able to say, yeah, we can see that Targaryen sort of thing. I think they kind of like each other too, or there's something there. And I like how they look next to each other too. It's like a huge juxtaposition. Like he looks so dark compared to her. It could just be his hair.
Yeah, Danny wants that woofy. She definitely does. I don't know if John pressed for it, but she was like, yeah, I want that dire woofy. I saw the look.
Dire wolf D.
Oh. Hashtag that chat, hashtag that. Hashtag dire wolf D.
So do you have any other thoughts on Dragonstone? What about Varys and Melisandre? What do you think of that scene?
I think that whole thing, like, and we talked about this here in the house, just trying to figure it out. Like, why the hell didn't Melisandre just look, John? I know you hate me, blah blah blah. But the Night King is coming. Daenerys believed this dude. Like, there was so much stuff that they could have cut out from the middle, If they would have just had her down there and been like, look, this is what the deal is. The dead are coming. They are rising. It is what it is. But I think it's interesting that both he and her are up there on the cliff looking down. I thought it was interesting that Varys also wasn't in the throne room and wondered why.
That isn't.
I'm sorry, y'all. What did y'all say? Anyway, like, can anybody talk to me?
Because we went through the whole thing. So basically, I'm just trying to guide you on what places we went, so you can just say your stuff. But we basically went over everything. But we definitely wanted to hear your thoughts. So that's all. So basically, I'm just guiding you through your bulletins.
Let's go from the top real quick, Lady D. Let's. The North, since I'm saying the top, let's go with the North. What were your thoughts on Sansa and all of her moves being made and Bran coming home and all that?
Oh my gosh. So this is like the one scene where I like Sansa, right, guys? I'm like, yeah, girl, you better get it. She's like, oh, how much we have? Enough for a year. Are you crazy? How long was the longest winter in the last 100 years? Do that. You know what I'm saying? Put some leather on those breastplates. Like, I was appreciating it, but at the same time, what I noticed about that scene is that Littlefinger was on her right side and was walking in front of her. Regardless, like she's doling out the commands, but he is on her right-hand side and it's always a couple steps ahead of her the entire scene. And it's just like, I feel like him in that maneuvering, man, like what is it that you really want? Like, what are you doing? Hopefully he'll die soon, but it's like, what is it? What is it with him? He's gonna do something first. So I appreciated her for taking charge, and it didn't look like she was trying to be a complete jerk. But I also saw the moves that she was making when she was like, you know, if the armies of the North run to Winterfell, they won't have time to bring their grain. Yeah, AKA we want all the food here so that there will be people here to defend Winterfell. Like she was really smart. Like the way she's moving, that's Cersei. That's Cersei 2.0 right there. I tried to tell y'all before, but that's not a wolf right there. She's nobody's wolf. Her seeing Bran, to me, I thought, and I mean, I could also just be a heinous bitch, right? But my first thought was that she immediately looked at Bran and was like, damn, power. It was like a flicker of, damn, there goes my power. Oh, there's my brother, my little brother. Oh, I missed you. I'm crying. And I'm like, she felt that. I think that the scene with him and her at the tree was a crazy one. Because girl, of all the things that you could have said, yo, why would you bring up her wedding night? Things that you could have said. I've seen Sansa, and I'm sorry for this, and then why is the first thing you say, yo, is you were beautiful on your wedding night? Do you forget what happened in her wedding night? You can see everything that happened to everybody ever.
He's so creepy, and I loved him for it. Brandon does not have time to be politically correct. He's been seeing visions. He's like, what's the quickest way to get this bitch out of my face? Oh, you know what? You look pretty on your wedding. Let me stop.
Boom. And I can't agree more. I can't agree more. He was just trying to get at it, I think. And when he hugged her, I don't know if y'all noticed when they were on the court, but when he hugged her, it was like just blankness in his eyes. Like at first he had a slight smile, and when she went to go hug him, it was just like blankness. And I was like, yeah, Brandon, did you see that too? I did.
Did he even hug her though? It didn't look like his arms came up out that blanket.
No, he just.
I don't think he hugged her back.
Hug her back.
And we all definitely noticed that Bran seemed off on that. He seemed. Sansa seemed more excited he did than he did. He just
real quick callback. If we can go back to season 1 real quick. Remember how Catelyn said, you know, it's been how many years I've been here, but I still feel a stranger in the Godswood. Well, we know Bran can see all things at all times, and that feeling was probably because he was looking at her through them trees like, Mom, what the fuck are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's looking at Sansa that exact same way.
Oh, well, she's a Lannister. Yeah.
What about the next scene that we talked about? We talked about Castle Rock. Oh, no, we talked about the whole Cersei's moves that she made in
King's
this
Landing.
episode. We talked about everything in King's Landing, Jaime, Euron. So let's talk about all of that.
Yeah, go ahead, B.
Okay. As soon as this chick met with the banker and was like, I'm going to pay you in 2 weeks, I already knew it was up. I looked at the boyfriend, I was like, High Garden's going. Like, it is what it is. That's what High Garden is gone. It doesn't make, you have no money. You have no money. Street 101. If you have no money and you need some money, you have to go get the money. Now, if there are no jobs to be had, if there's no work to be done, then you have to invent your own work and get the money. Street 101. This is Westeros. Obviously, the Lannisters understand Street 101. I owe the boss money. I need to re-up. Let me go and get it. So they went, and I was totally expecting it. Sat there, talked to the banker. I think that the bank is going to end up thinking that Cersei's insane, but we'll see. Hopefully he does. I think that we're just talking about King's Landing, or can I go into High Garden?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, pull it all together.
Yeah, go through all of it because basically we just want to hear your thoughts as well. So talk about Cersei, Jaime, Euron, the Sand Snakes, Lady. I keep wanting to call her Miss Olenna, Lady Olenna. So just wrap up all your thoughts.
Yes. I'm gonna save Lady Olenna for last because she's honey. But
yes, Jaime got played twice. Hi, keep going.
What? Honey, listen. When somebody plays you while they're dying, that's a problem. All right. So Sand Snakes come through King's Landing. We knew something messed up was going to happen. I thought it was honestly going to be a lot worse than that. Excuse me. We all saw it. Everybody saw it. My one thing is that I thought that what she was going to do to the Sand Snakes was going to be a lot worse than that. And just poison her and letting her daughter die. Like, I thought it would be far worse than that. The fact that Euron took Yara, Asha, whatever you want to call her, is very interesting. What the hell do you plan on doing with Yara? I've heard people say that she may be taking a damp hair's place. If so, that's going to be crazy and sick, and we just got to see that one. I really hope it doesn't happen because I actually like Yara. She's like the one Greyjoy, but whatever. Y'all know I was gigging off of everything that Euron was doing to Jaime up there at that seat. It was wrong. It was wrong, and it wasn't right, and it was so wrong that we have to rewind it times.
It's okay. It's okay. Embrace your troll. It's okay.
Embrace the troll. All right.
Yes, yes.
I got it. Let me feel it. Y'all gotta let me listen, y'all. We sat
Embrace
there.
it.
He said, "Tell me how she likes it." No. I said, "No, Euron. No." Does she like it hard? No, Euron. Please, please. No. A finger in the bum. Fall out. Pass out now.
And yeah, and then he gets mad. He's like, "Shh, we'll talk about it later." Favorite line, hands down.
Yes.
When he gave him the shh, not now. We'll talk later. Listen.
Best scene in King's Landing.
Like, come on. Like, that was the best. I'm like, nah, he won. Whatever it was, he just won it. Quit. Stop now, Jaime. Because what you don't have is this level of swagger, yo. Like, you don't have it. Like, Euron can low-key get it from people because he's a dick. Like, what is this? I've never seen anything so entertaining, like, so random between him and the Hound. Like, that is some funny, man, how does she like it? Hard? Does she like it soft? A finger in the bum. She act, in the court, in front of mad people. I'm talking hundreds, thousands of people, with your sister as the queen behind you. This slug, greasy dude just asked you if she like it when you put a finger in her butt. Yeah, I'm feeling Game of Thrones. And then, after that, for me, honestly, the show was downhill from there. Just kidding, but that was the best. We probably rewind that one scene like 6 times, y'all, just because we couldn't believe it. Like, watching Jaime's face. Please rewind that scene and just watch Jaime's face. If you do nothing else, don't even listen to what Euron's saying. Just stare at his face. His
face was tight. He was tight because you see someone else that wants to fuck your sister. That already sounds like a disgusting thought. That's Jaime for you.
Trapped in the vagina nebula.
But it's his sisters. We keep missing that point. It's his sisters.
Which is why it's so much worse. Nasty. And not just like, his sister, but his twin. Ew.
Do you give her credit? Like, it must be bomb that you willing to kill senior citizens for it. Like, I'm so over his nasty ass. And he even said he was a dumbass in this episode. And he got played twice because Cersei damn sure did say in front of Jaime that, yeah, I'll give you what you want, which is pussy to Euron. And then she went around and fucked you so you can still do your job. He got played twice. And then Olenna at the end. Dumbass.
Queen of Thorns owned that ass.
Sorry, y'all.
Go ahead, babe.
With me agreeing with you.
We can tell, girl.
But because I just got home so I can sit and eat. I'm sorry. But So Elena, I got to say that. Just go ahead and fast forward. Elena Tyrell, listen, that's my homegirl. When I saw my homegirl in that window looking down at the army, and she was like, and she made that face. Y'all know the Elena Tyrell face. So that's happening. And she went and sat down, and I'm like, you better get it with this black pillbox hat and sitting down just as perfect. Had a whole conversation with Jamie, was like, yeah, tell me all your secrets, basically, blah, blah, blah. But when she got to the point where she was like, so how am I going to die, basically? And he was like, I talked to Cersei, got all the crazy stuff. Here's some poison. She asked him, is it going to hurt? Will this hurt me? He said, no, she drank it like a G. Like, I mean, this woman, like, she's a gangster. Drank it like a G, did a little burp and was like, cool. Now that I'm already dying, let me get some things off of my chest. It must have been really hard for you to watch your son, and yes, I know that he's your son, choked to death on the floor of his wedding as he scratched at his throat and turned purple and bled from his eye sockets and his mouth. That was crazy. I really didn't mean to do that. My bad. And then just stares at him. What do you do? Like, what do you? I wish, like, I can't wait to see what happens in the books, because we know that her family is a lot larger and maybe something else happens, and it may or may not be a consequence, but whatever. But that was just, oh my God, Olenna Tyrell. And damn the Tarleys, yo. Damn the Tarleys, damn the Tarleys.
Yo, fucking forgot to talk about the Tarleys. Go ahead, B. Yeah, go ahead. I forgot to even mention the damn Tarleys when we were talking about it. Go ahead, though.
Sam is the only real Tarley left. Sam is the only real Tarley in this mug. He's the only one that's loyal. The rest of them are not, like, at all. Like, the Tarley name is shit now. I don't care what anybody says. Because that, right, like, Olenna Tyrell, you trying to tell me there wasn't a cousin or nothing that you couldn't marry Dick onto? Anything. But you decided to just take over the, go ahead, yo. I can't wait. I cannot wait until Sam, like, stabs him with Heartsbane or something like that, because he's a real dick for betraying Olenna. Oh, and it was hilarious because, she always got to keep it real. She's like, did we fight well? And he's like, yeah, not really. She's like, I didn't expect this to. Just like, I didn't care. She just sat down. Just kill me. I killed your son, you stupid jerk. And then the scene was over. That was one of the best scenes, I think, in the series, quite honestly. Like, that's one of those scenes I could watch again and just watch that scene.
To be honest, now that I think about it, I think Olenna could have took Jamie on. She should have smacked the poison out and just
took his hand and
took a bat and started. What he gonna do? I popped off his golden hand and started beating him. I'm sorry, I think she could have took him on. Like, if pre-hand chop Jamie, no contest. But post hand chop, I think she could take him on. I'm just saying.
She might have had a chance, Olenna. You should have fought back. Hashtag Olenna should have fought. What's next?
True. Let's see. You talked about the Reach and the North. You touched on everything on Dragonstone that you wanted to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Westerlands, the Siege of Castle Rock.
And when Jamie pulled the Whispering Wood. Jamie pulled the Whispering Wood. He was like, this is how I got caught. This is how I'm going to catch you, mother. Listen, I didn't understand how they was going to take Castle Rock anyway, unless they were going to go through the sewers. So when I saw them attacking the walls, I was really confused. But the way that they cut up the scenes, it had Tyrion talking about how, Castle Rock could be invaded and how many men would die, like his father said. But then, he was talking about, the sewers and stuff, the stuff that we know from the books. But I kind of assumed that they would start with that. So to see them do again, where they basically sacrifice lives and sacrifice people in order to take something, it was difficult for me, because I just kind of hate seeing that. It's like, there's no other way. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no, you guys couldn't do the siege engine thing, you know what I'm saying? Or something like that. and just, or at night, you know what I'm saying, pull a, what was the Mad Brother and the Night's Watch. You couldn't do that. Go through the sewers that same way that you just did, but do it at night, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with no shoes on, and kill everybody in the castle. Like, there's just, I feel like there was other ways to do it. So I wasn't too happy about that. But other than that, they got The Rock. It is unfortunate that it was basically a chess move because there's no food at The Rock. There's nothing left there, and eventually they'll have to abandon the position. But at the same time, I don't think Jamie and Cersei know who they playing with. This is the Unsullied. They don't need much.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you need a certain amount in order to survive, in order to whatever. But at the same time, it's the Unsullied. They don't need much. You mess around, the dead Lannisters you left, they'll get eaten. Like, it's different. They will survive. So I just think that right there may be a misstep for them because they will survive. I also think it's interesting, unless the show just decides to completely just cut off Dorne completely out of the show, there should be somebody left in Dorne to rise for Dorne. They literally killed off the entire royal family. There should be some, like, literally there's nobody left. Even in the show, Dorne says he has 7 daughters. Hell, where are the other 4? But I suppose they probably won't pull that in because they suck.
I was checking for Alaris, but we didn't see her.
No, I think in the show they're just trying to cut that Dorne stuff. They're trying to wrap as many storylines as they can, and that was their exit. Just like with that whole dumbass grayscale, I think they wanted to finish these storylines to get to the ultimate picture at the end. So I think they're just, in the books it's going to be something completely different, but as far as the show, I think they saw an out to end the whole Dorne storyline because it wasn't working. And a lot of fans didn't like it, so they're like, nope, the house is done. Or at least at all, it's not a threat to Cersei, which means that it's not really going to matter at this point.
Okay.
True.
Next.
I think, did we cover everything?
All right.
Do you want to get a few questions before we finish it up or anything?
B, did you talk about Varys and Melisandre's meeting?
Yeah, just in the fact that I thought it was interesting that they both weren't down there.
Okay, all right.
What did you guys think? What do y'all have to? Because that's an interesting little. That's really interesting because, you know, it's like they can't stand each other, and a part of me honestly feels like, Varys, how old are you? Because she looked at Varys and was like, neither one of us is common, and I'm like, that's true.
Yo, the first thing that my mind jumped to was, is Varys really a Blackfire? Like is Mel low-key reading him, but we're not seeing the context just yet?
I just don't think they're going to do the whole Blackfire on the show. If they would have set it up, or they would have continued the Illyrio storyline, and because they cut that off, I just feel like they're not going to add on to it. I think the main thing is that they're playing this whole, is Varys your friend or is he your enemy?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the most, as far as I'm concerned, I think Beauty Queen also said it, is that he knew about his death or something. He heard or saw it in those flames. And I'm curious, will we ever find out what he saw in the flames? And I think that's the whole, why they had the whole Mel scene, and that her dropping that she's going back to Volantis and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There, just like him. I thought that was interesting because it's like, we knew he was going to die, but I wonder if she had something to do with it.
Good thought.
So do you guys want to take a few questions before we end the stream?
Yeah, do we have Beauty Queen, did you want to speak on anything else? I think
all
Lady
good over
came
there.
in, right, with them cute ass braids and stuff.
You guys pretty much already said everything. I don't want to be redundant, so.
Thumbs up for Beauty Queen.
All right, anybody got any questions? We'll take like 3 questions because it is getting late. And y'all know YouTube does not pay the bills for any of us. We do have work in the AM.
Yes. And
so
yes,
if
Jamie is a golden dumbass, because I already know you're going to ask me that.
Yeah, and Jorah still needs to stop touching shit, and Sam kind of needs to stop touching shit now too.
Even if they finish that whole dumbass story, Jorah still couldn't touch me. I don't care. Fuck. Oh, Sam just scraped his skin, and now he could. Nope. Even though you guys said that it might be possibly a different shirt, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same damn shirt, because I don't feel that whole storyline just pissed me off. But I ain't even gonna go there. Any question, y'all? Because if not, we want.
Peter, we are not going to speak on the trailer because Manaro is going through this whole series unsullied, so she has not watched any of the leaks, has not watched any, thought videos from any other YouTubers on it. She's going in completely blind. She does not watch the trailers for the new episodes, so we're gonna leave that off. So please, if you guys don't put that in the chat. But if you have any questions specific to this episode or even the episode 1 or 2, we'll take like 3 before we dip out. If nobody puts anything up within like the next 5 minutes, we'll just dip out early. So let us know, put up your thoughts, put Q&A before your questions so we can see it easier, and we'll take them as they come.
So overall, while we're waiting for them to send us questions, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like this was the best thing I've ever seen, and 1 being like, why am I here? This episode.
I would give this episode honestly like a 6.5, borderline 7. There were some good parts that I did very much enjoy, but it the whole thing left me wanting for more. It didn't seem to hit as hard as it should have with this shortened season that we have. There's a little too much filler in some scenes, but that's just my thought.
What about you, Beauty Queen?
I give it like a 4.5. It was a very flat episode. I know there was a lot of information that was.
That's not funny.
Is the baby okay? What is happening? Why is he yelling for help?
They're playing.
She said, "Help me!"
Right? Like, what is happening right now?
In no type of danger.
Anyhow, it was a 4.5. I think they're still doing a lot of setup. They're moving different pieces. And people.
They playing Game of Thrones in the background,
right?
They just don't want me to be great. I'll just leave it. It was a 4.5. It was a flat episode. Aside from the Euron and the Melisandre and Varys interaction and Lady Olenna trolling Jaime at the end.
Shows make everything great.
Perfect.
What about you, B? On a scale of 1 to 10?
To be honest with you, I was feeling like this was kind of a filler episode, guys. Like, had some really
that's what I said.
But I was just like, dang, for this to be the second to last season, I was expecting this to be like every moment to be like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, yes, take me now. I was expecting like for every episode to be like Ballad of the Bastards, like, woo!
Right,
like some stuff where we get on here and we're like, did you see that shit? Like,
I agree.
They definitely did not give us that. I gave it. I think you guys are being. No, wait. What did you rate it though?
Like a 5, 6.
Yeah, B rated it a 5. Manaro rated it a 4. I gave it a 6.5.
I think she said 4.5, right? Or maybe she just
that might have been it.
4.5. Yeah, because those 0.5s count. I gave it a 3, and I didn't really like this episode. Like I said, it was really boring to me. A lot of information, a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of setups, but boring,
Right.
But I did enjoy the trolling, and I did enjoy Jaime getting played twice in one episode. Do we have any questions?
Yes, we have our 3 questions up. First one is from the lovely lady Love Love. Y'all check out her channel. Me, her,
Yes,
BBM, and Manaro, and probably a few other folks will be doing a discussion about Neil Gaiman's Anansi Boys book, which is
I
kind
want
of
in on that.
well, come through, man. Come through. We're not doing it until like next weekend, so you got time. It's only in 8 parts on Audible. If you need it, let me know. I'll upload it to my G Drive and send it to you. It's a
Hey,
quick read. It's a quick read. It's 8 parts, and each one is only like an hour. You could literally listen to it while you're at work and be done in one day.
yeah. So live, I'm sorry. I basically forced myself onto your stream.
I saw Lavi asks, do you guys think Sam will end up in Dragonstone or Winterfell? I think he's going to end up headed back north, unless he sees something in those manuscripts and old scrolls, and maybe hears news of John being at Dragonstone. Then he might head there, but I think it's more likely he'll head back north. Lady D, we'll start with you. What do you think?
I think that I shall also be on the stream discussing Anansi Boys. But yeah. I have ADD and I lost it just that fast.
Don't you hate that?
Yes, because it's like, dang, I'm just saying 2 words. I just said 2 words. How did I forget?
So, do you think Sam is going to end up at Dragonstone or Winterfell?
I think that Sam is going to end up at Dragonstone with Dragon Glass.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that he's going to end up there because I think that he will. I have absolutely no reason for that. I could probably look at the map now and be like, well, the Unsullied are over here, and they would have to walk back over here to get to Dragonstone, and they'd have to be ferried somehow. I don't know. But I think that he probably ends up at Dragonstone. I could think of him getting to Winterfell, but I kind of feel like it's so far.
Mm.
Like, it's just so far for him now. I kind of feel like he's just not going back north. At this point, you know, it may be that anybody that comes south isn't going back north. I don't know. But we'll see, except for like John and people who obviously have to go. But, you know, I don't know. Doesn't go back north. Because I feel like it gives him a higher chance of survival.
True. All right, Lady Manaro.
I'm kind of with Lady D on that. I think his fate. If I'm reading the signs in the show right, I think his fate is tied in the South because he still has to confront his father and his brother because he still has the ancestral sword, and I think he may also learn something about Valyrian steel in those manuscripts. I think there's a lot that Sam is going to learn, and that is going to be useful information. And he may find out that John is in, or John may find out John knows he's in the Citadel, but if Jorah makes it to Dragonstone, and he meets up with, and John is still there, I think Sam will probably find out that John is in Dragonstone, and I think he'll probably end up feeding John information, which also by proxy will feed that to Dany, and that probably might convince her more about the tales that John is telling. So yeah, I think Sam's fate is tied in the South more so than in the North. But my feeling of why that is because I think he needs to confront his at least in the show, it's giving me the impression that he has to be able to confront, or there has to be some sort of familial confrontation where that loose end tends get tied off.
Nice. Go ahead, T.
I don't know where Sam's going to be. I don't really see him going to Dragonstone, to be honest with you. He's probably going to either go back to, well, no, because he's a man of Nice Watch. I think he's going to really be more centered into the Citadel, getting all the information to relay to John. I don't know where the fuck he would go. I don't see him going to Dragonstone, and I don't even see him going to Winterfell. Because if anything, if he's going back to the South, it would be to go back to the Night's Watch, because the main reason why John sent him out there was so that he could learn all that he needs to know to be a maester, one, for the Night's Watch, but also to gather more information about, wait, no, they don't know about that yet. No, the main reason was to get him out there because Maester Aemon had died, and they definitely needed another maester for Castle Rock. So if he is going north, it would go to Castle Black. It wouldn't be Winterfell. And if he's still in the South, I don't really see the reason for him to go to Dragonstone. However, they would need a maester at Dragonstone at one point in time. But I feel like the Citadel, they send whoever they feel to go to certain houses, and Sam isn't technically a maester yet. He's going to have to gain his change in order to become a maester, even be assigned to a house. So I just can't see him actually going to either one of those places, to be honest. But it's interesting that you asked, would he end up in either one of those places?
Nice, nice. I dig that. The second question we have is from our lady Sam R09. Do you think Davos will call Salladhor Saan to come get him and Jon? I don't think that they would have access to ravens while they are at Dragonstone. And honestly, I'm not sure that Davos would even know where Salladhor Saan is at the moment. But I mean, it could possibly come up, but I can't see that being met with anything but hostility and resistance on Dany's end. Lady D, we'll start with you again. What do you think?
Could you ask? Oh no, Salladhor Saan. Salladhor is not. I don't think Salladhor Saan is coming back in this story. In this story, like in the way that he'll come back in the book. Like, and I don't know if he'll be ferrying people, but in the book, Salladhor Saan is the Iron Bank. In my own tinfoily theory mind, he's a part of the Iron Bank. So
you know, we still waiting on that second conspiracy video, Professor Diligence.
Life is real, and I just have not gotten it together yet, and that's the truth. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe one night I'll just be on here and drink, and we can just have a big discussion about it. I'm gonna finish it at some point. I have trouble, but no, I don't think he's coming there. I don't think they're gonna send a raven to find Salladhor Saan wherever he is in the ocean to come and get them.
I can dig it. Lady Manaro, what say you?
I agree with Lady D. I don't see Salladhor Saan coming back in the storyline in the show. I don't see that. I don't see that happening. At least, I don't have any indication that the showrunners would be looking to bring him back. First and second, how would Davos get the message to Salladhor Saan? I mean, without Daenerys Targaryen knowing.
Right, good point. T?
Sorry, my mute button wanted me to shut up. I don't know if we'll see him again, to be honest. I'm not sure what his character would bring to the rest of the storyline. And like I said before, I think that they're trying to reduce this cast size as much as possible. So if it's any storyline, I don't think that they're going to, if you don't see them getting brought back in this season, I don't see them coming back at all. Because like I said, they're giving us shorter episodes, which means they're trying to condense the season and the storyline so that we can get to the ending point. So I think that's just adding on more to the storyline where they're trying to, reduce that and just get to the finish line.
Nice. Definitely agreed. Yeah, I think it would be very hard to bring Salador back into the story. He was a great character. I did enjoy him while he was there, but I don't think we'll be seeing him again. So
it's not necessary.
Right, exactly. So the last question we have is from Sean Land, and I believe, Sean, this is the first time I'm seeing you in any of our chats. So welcome, and thank you for being here.
And I really hope you're not a Jamie fan.
Sean's question is, knowing how much John didn't want to accidentally sleep with his mother, would D&D be so cruel as to make John and Danny have an intimate relationship? I don't think that there was anything with John accidentally sleeping with Lyanna. I don't see how that would happen.
Probably getting Jamie confused. He seemed like if he's into his sister, it's not a stretch that he'd be into his mom.
Yeah, possibly. But I don't think that it would be cruel to make John and Danny be in a relationship. I mean, they're Targaryens. That's just what Targaryens do. I mean, and even on the Stark side, though, you know, Rickard Stark, he was married to his cousin. That was Ned, Lyanna, Benjen, and Brandon's mother. So it wouldn't be, you know, if cousins can marry, I don't think for that world it would be too big of a stretch for an aunt and a nephew to marry, with them being so close in age and, you know, needing the help that they both need from each other. I mean, Danny, like in the books, if you've read them, she always thought that she would marry Viserys at some point. So, you know, I don't agree with the incest, but for the world that Martin has created, that's just a Targaryen thing. So I don't see it as being anything cruel if it did happen.
Maybe not cruel, but disgusting.
Yeah, you're right. But for their world, I don't see it being cruel. Lady Diligence, what you got for us, Professor? B, you there? Technical difficulties?
It's that mute button.
All right, we'll come back to B. Beauty Queen, give us what you got.
I think it's cruel and unusual punishment to my eyes and my ears. For that, I don't see what purpose it would serve other than to do more incest or have more of that. Well, I guess I wouldn't necessarily call it incest, but like inbreeding that they got going on with the families. I don't see what purpose it would serve for the greater part of the story for them to have an intimate relationship. I think once they discover that they actually do share the same bloodline, I can see them coming to having a better understanding of each other and probably wanting to be in each other's lives. But for it to go any further than that, I don't. But they're gonna die anyway, so it don't matter.
All right. B, you back with us?
Yes, I am.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
I don't know what happened. My computer went off, so I don't know what happened.
Okay, all right. Let me read the question. It's knowing how much John didn't want to accidentally sleep with his mother. I honestly don't understand that part, Sean. Maybe you could explain that to us in the chat. Would D&D be so cruel as to make John and Danny have an intimate relationship?
Yes. I don't think it'll happen because we want it to badly, but yes. I don't think that that's what's stopping. I don't think that's just too sick for him to sleep with his aunt, right? Like, no, it's not. Or his cousin, I guess. No, his aunt. Yeah, it wouldn't be too weird for him to sleep with his aunt. You got brothers and sisters sleeping with each other in this show. So, yeah, I don't think it's a question of that. I think we just probably won't get it. I wish we would, because I'm not sure how we get another like Targaryen baby. I'm confused, but
I don't want to see that shit. I like the fact that John's king of the north and she's queen of the other part. I don't want to see. Oh, Cammy, I booed you because you were picking Jamie, the goat and dumbass, over the best troll in Westeros. You're on. That's why I said boo. I'm rooting for Jamie, boo. But I still love you. But as far as the question about Danny getting with John, I don't see it. I think that they'll make good friendship commanders, but I guess I don't see how John could be with Danny, because then that means he would have to leave to be at Dragonstone or King's Landing to be with her, technically, if he was her husband or whatever, if they got together. And I don't see John leaving his people. But overall, I just think that we can have two strong leaders and not have to actually be together. Like, that doesn't, they need as much allies as possible, which if you're really playing this game, even though it doesn't matter because there's a bigger threat, but it would be wise for them to choose other mates to unite other houses to whatever cause that they want or support. But I'm cool with Danny and John not getting together. Like, I could see a cool friendship, but I think John, I'm not sure if he'll ever be able to love, especially the way he did with the first one. So I don't know. Yeah, and I'm just over incest. Like, it's so much dick in it in Westeros, so much pussy in Westeros. Do you really have to go to a family member? Can't you go to someone else? It's okay. It's okay to choose someone you're not related to. You'd be surprised at how much fun you'll have. Leave these people alone. They're just so nasty.
T baby, the ranting troll. I love you, my sister. I appreciate it. All right. Well, we have come to the end of our stream, fam. So I'm gonna go down the line of my lovely mad queens. We will say our outros, and we'll probably be back with you next week. B, go ahead and kick us off, please. Hey, tell the people where they can find you.
It's the late lady B, as always. Not always, but a lot of the times I'm late, like tonight. So I just want to say thanks for coming in and hanging out with us. I'm probably gonna have to do something on my channel at some point before you guys start abandoning me in droves. But other than that, thanks for hanging out with us. I wish this episode honestly was a little bit better. I wish it would have gave us a little bit more. All in all, it was a cool episode, I suppose. I'm hoping that the rest of the episodes for the rest of this season and then what we see in season 8 will be better, though, because they got to kick it up a notch, and we haven't seen anything happening above the wall since we saw Bran get there. Like what's happening. I think it's curious. I want to know how far they got. Last time that the Hound saw the White Walkers, they were going past what I believe was Hardhome and towards Eastwatch. So I don't know. I just wish it was moving a little bit differently. But thanks for hanging out.
Beauty Queen, tell the folks where to find you, please.
Thanks, AK, for hosting this discussion. Always fun to be on here with my girls. Thank you to everybody in the chat who came and participated.
There's no girls. There's no girls.
She gonna beat them kids after she get off. They ain't wore her out. All she wanna do is say goodbye.
I said that's not funny.
I am so sorry. I apologize.
It's 10 o'clock.
Lord Commander apologizes.
No.
Yeah, juice box in the nap.
He about to hit you with that Lyanna Mormont. You better watch out.
Nah, I fight little kids.
Before she come over there and tell y'all that y'all the daddy.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
She was holding her stomach like, and you the father.
So yeah,
She did her own Disney show.
Y'all know where y'all can find me, ManaroGeek TV on.
Make a Y.
I'm glad you made a Y.
Line.
Peace, everybody.
Go ahead, T baby the troll, hit us up.
Oh, she gonna beat them babies. I could feel it in my spirit. She like, y'all was playing, your imagination all in the background. I loved having this conversation with you guys. Like I said, I hate the episode, but you can catch me on my channel. I'm sure the link is in that description box, most likely. I'm starting to make more videos. I literally have a video where I question if if Jamie is going to be a dragon or is dead. Join my channel, see what I have out there, and, you know, check me out sometime. And it's been real talking to you guys.
Word up. You know, this is what we do, fam. We just here sitting chilling. I think our highest number was 25 viewers, and we have 25 likes and 1 dislike. So thank you to that unit that came through and gave me a view. I appreciate that. I mean, y'all know I really don't ever look at my numbers. I'm not here to try to like make money off of YouTube. I have a job. This is just me having fun with my ladies, and I always appreciate being here, hanging with everybody in the chats. Thank y'all for coming through. Little bit of a blurb. If y'all like The Walking Dead, check out the Walking Bread channel. We are hitting them motion comics, and it is awesome. My boys Josh and Alex are doing some great things. I think they just released issue 105. So if you're interested in the comics and you like the TV show, go ahead and check out the origins. See where all that greatness came from. As of issue 52, your girl Lord Commander voices Michonne. I think I'm all right at it. We've gotten some positive responses. So check us out on there on the Walking Bread channel. Thank you, my ladies, for being on with me. It's always a pleasure hanging with my girls. Like y'all may not know, but I talk to these ladies like every day. They are my sisters, and I love them. And by request, T baby, I think we are up for a meme war. We have not had one in several months. And Lady Manaro did request a meme war last weekend. So I think we might need to have to go to battle. We need to call the banners, and we might have to have a battle.
And one thing that's not fair is because you have like a bunch of memes just all out, and I'm basically going off the fly like, oh, this is funny, oh, and then I'm trying to. We would definitely have, but it's like one of those organic things. It just happens. Usually,
it just happens, right?
You know, she throws out her 3 memes, like boom, boom. This is going to make them laugh, and then I'm like, okay, I can make them laugh too. Boom, and the next thing you know, you just see music
like 3 hours have gone by that we've been wasting our time and multitasking and having meme wars while we're at work. Like, hopefully, none of my bosses watch this and they don't know.
But the joy that it brings me,
it brings me joy too. It's always fun. Also, I will give a blurb shout out to Ice and Fire Con. We will all be there next year, 2018. If you guys want to go, hit up the Ice and Fire Con website and purchase a ticket. When you do, put in the code Ginger Ale, and you'll get $5 off that ticket. So, you know, let those 2 ladies, Tara and I feel horrible. I cannot forget the other young lady's name. I'm sorry if you watch this. I can't remember your name, but they are 2 very awesome ladies, and they run the whole con. And it was a really good time when we went this past year, and we got to meet a lot of our fellow YouTubers. It was awesome. I'm usually on other people's channels more than I'm on mine. You can sub to me if you want, but like I said, I'm not here for numbers. I'm just here chilling with my folks. So everybody's links are in the description. Hit us up next Sunday. I will be back again doing another live reaction stream during the episode. If you're in the Eastern time zone, come on through. Let's watch the episode together and chat and comment on it. And we will most definitely see you guys next week. Deuces.
Jamie's